Hello students, myself Milan Patel, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today's topic is about wall finishes, plastering. So let's begin. First of all, we will see what is plastering. Plastering is the process of covering rough surfaces of walls, columns, and other building components with thin coat of plastic mortars to form durable surface. This is how plastering looks like. Okay, the coating of plastic material is termed as plaster. Okay, and generally in plastering, mortar is used as a coating material, right? Plastering on external exposed surface is known as rendering. Okay, so if you do plastering on external exposed surface, it is called as rendering. Okay, now let's see what are the objectives of plastering. Okay, it is used to protect the external surfaces against penetration of rainwater and other atmospheric agencies. Okay. Second object is to give smooth surface in which dust and dirt cannot lodge. Third, it is used to give decorative effect in the building. Fourth, it is used to protect surfaces against vermit. Okay. And the last is it is used to conceal inferior material or defective workmanship. Okay, it is used to cover this defective workmanship in you can say concreting, etc. Okay, so these are the main objectives of plastering. Now let's see the requirements of good plaster, or you can say what are the points to be considered while selecting the plaster material. Okay, it should adhere the background and should remain adhered during all variations in seasons and other atmospheric conditions. Okay, the material should be hard and durable. It should possess good workability also. It should be possible to apply it during all weather conditions. The material should be cheap and it should be effectively check penetration of moisture. Okay, so these are the points to be remembered while selecting material for good plastering. Okay, now let's see the types of mortars used for plastering. Okay, the selection of type of plaster depends mainly on the various factors such as availability of binding material such as cement, lime, etc. Durability requirements, or you can say long lasting ability. Okay, finishing requirements, atmospheric conditions and variations in weather, and location of surface where the plastering is applied. Okay, so these are the points to remember while selecting the type of mortar. Okay, now let's see what are the various types of mortar. It is basically divided into three types: lime mortar, cement mortar, and lime cement mortar. We will see all these three types one by one, starting with lime mortar, in which lime is used for plastering. Okay, lime used for plastering may be either fat lime or hydraulic lime. This is how the lime looks like. It is one type of white powder material. Okay, however, fat lime is preferred since it yields good putty after slacking. Okay, so fat lime is basically more preferred than the hydraulic lime. Okay, so what is the difference between fat lime and hydraulic lime? Let's see the difference between fat lime and hydraulic lime. This fat lime is obtained from comparatively pure carbonate of lime containing only 5% of clay impurities. Okay, while hydraulic lime is obtained from limestones containing clay to the extent of about 5 to 30 percentage and some amount of ferrous oxide also. Okay, this is how we obtain fat lime and hydraulic lime. Okay, second difference, this fat lime slacks vigorously. Its volume is increased to about 2 to 2.5 times the volume of weak lime. Okay, and the slacking is accompanied by sound and heat also. While hydraulic lime slacks slowly, its volume is slightly increased. The slacking is not accompanied by sound and heat. Okay, this fat lime sets slowly in presence of air, while hydraulic lime sets under the water. Okay, this fat lime does not possesses hydraulic property, while hydraulic lime possesses hydraulic property also. Okay, fat lime is perfectly white in color, while hydraulic lime color is not white as fat lime. Okay, This fat lime is not very strong, hence it cannot be used where strength is required, while hydraulic lime is comparatively strong than the fat lime and can be adopted where strength is required. Okay, this fat lime is used for plastering, whitewashing, etc., and for preparing mortar with sand and surki also. While hydraulic lime is used for preparing mortar for thick walls, damp places where extreme care is required to prepare mortar of this lime for plastering work. Okay, so this is the main difference between fat lime and the hydraulic lime. Okay, the proportion, or you can say mixed proportion of lime and sand to prepare lime mortar varies from 1:3 to 1:4 for fat lime and 1:2 for hydraulic lime. Okay, the binding properties of lime mortar can be improved by adding Google at the rate of about 1.6 kilogram per cubic meter of mortar. Okay, it is one type of material which can be added to improve the properties of the lime mortar. The adhesive and tensile properties of lime mortar can further improve by mixing chopped ham at the rate of about 1 kilogram per cubic meter of mortar. Such a treatment prevents the formation of tensile cracks on the plaster surfaces. Okay, so this is how you can improve the various properties of lime mortar. Okay. The second type of mortar is cement mortar. The cement mortar is the base mortar for external plastering work since it is practically non-absorbent. It is also preferred in both rooms as well as in damp climates. Okay, this is how cement mortar looks like, in which main binding material is the cement. Okay, cement mortar is much stronger than the lime mortar. The mixed proportion of cement mortar in which the cement and sand is mixed is 1 to 4 to 1 to 6. Okay, so here 1 is the cement part and 4 and 6 is the sand part. Okay, here sand is used for plastering should be clean, coarse and angular one. Okay, before mixing the water, dry mixing is thoroughly done. Okay, when water is mixed, the mortar should be used within 30 minutes of mixing well before initial setting takes place because cement, which is the binding material, is sets in initially set in 30 minutes. So we have to use this cement mortar within 30 minutes after adding the water. Okay. Third type of mortar is lime cement mortar. Is the combination of lime and cement. Okay, lime cement mortar contains properties of both lime mortar as well as cement mortar because in which binding material is lime as well as cement. Okay, cement mortar as such does not possess sufficient plasticity. Addition of lime to it imparts plasticity, resulting in smooth plaster surfaces. Okay, the mixed proportion generally used are 1:1:6. Here, first one is the cement, second one is the lime proportion, and the sixth is the sand proportion. You can also use 1:1:8 or 1:8 proportion also. Okay, in lime cement mortar, generally fat lime is used. Okay. That's all about the various types of plaster material. Okay. Now let's see the types of plaster finishes, in which first is smooth cast finish, second is sand faced finish, third is rough cast finish or spatter dash finish, fourth is pebble dash finish or dry dash finish, fifth is depter finish, sixth is scrap finish, and seventh is texture finish. These are the various types of finishes apply after doing the plastering. Okay. First is smooth cast finish. This is how smooth cast finish looks like. In this finish, smooth level surface is obtained. Okay. The mortar for the finish may be made of cement and fine sand in the ratio of 1 and 3. Mortar is applied with the help of wooden float, which is the long wooden, you can say plank. Okay. Steel floats are not recommended for external rendering since they give a very smooth finish which is liable to cracking and creasing under exposure to atmospheric conditions. So if you do plastering in external condition, you have to use wooden float compared to steel float because steel float gives very smooth finishes which leads to cracking and creasing. Okay. The second type of plaster finish is sand cast finish. This is how sand cast finish looks like. This is obtained by plastering in two coats. The first coat is applied in 1/4 cement sand mortar for 12 mm thickness. It is provided with zigzag lines. Okay, zigzag lines like this. After curing it for 7 days, the second coat is applied in the thickness of 8 mm. Okay, the mortar for second coat is prepared from the cement sand mix ratio 1 and 1. Okay, the sand for the sand for this is perfectly screened so that uniform size is obtained like this. Okay, sponge is used in the second coat when it is still wet. Okay, the surface of final coat is finished by rubbing clean and washed sand of uniform size by means of wooden float. Okay, this results in surface having sand grains of equal and uniform density like this. Okay, this is how you can make Sandcast finish in the wall. Okay, that's all about the Sandfest finish. Third is rough cast finish, or you can say spatter dash finish. This is how rough cast finish looks like. In this, the mortar for the final coat contains the fine sand as well as the coarse aggregate in the ratio of 1:3. Here, the coarse aggregates are added. Okay, in about two types of finishes, only cement and sand is used. Okay, the coarse aggregates may vary from 3 mm to 12 mm in size. The mortar is dashed against the prepared plaster surface by means of large trowel. The surface is then roughly finished using a wooden slot. Such a finish is waterproof, then durable, and resistant to racking and crazing, and may be used for external rendering also. Okay, so this type of finishes is mainly used for external rendering, where there is a requirement of waterproof durability and the resistance against the various atmospheric actions. Okay, that's all about the rough cast finish. The fourth one is pebble dash finish or dry dash finish. This is how pebble dash finish or dry dash finish. This type of finish you already seen in number of government buildings, right? In this, the final coat having cement sand mixed proportion of 1:3 is applied in 12 mm thickness. Okay, clean pebbles of size varying from 10 to 20 mm size are then tested against the surface so that they are held in positions. These pebbles may be lightly pressed into the mortar with the help of wooden float. Okay, so this is how you can make this type of pebble dash finishes, or you can say dry dash finishes. Okay. The fifth type of plaster finish is dapper finish. This is similar to the pebble dash finish in which the 12 mm coat is applied first, and while it is still wet, the pieces of gravel and flint are pressed with hand on the surfaces. Okay, these flints of different colors may be used to obtain beautiful patterns on the wall. Okay, this is how dapper finish looks like. Next is scrap finish. In this, the final coat of 6 to 12 mm thick is applied, and after it has stiffened for a few hours, the surface is scraped in patterns for a depth of 3 mm. For scraping, the steel straight edge, old saw blade, or such other tool may be used. Okay, such scrap surface is less liable to cracks. Okay, this is how scrap finish looks like. The last type of plaster finish is texture finish. Okay, this is used with stucco plastering. Ornamental patterns or texture surfaces are made on the final coat of stucco plastering by working with suitable tools. This is how texture finish looks like. Okay, so these are the various types of plaster finishes used in plastering. Okay, now let's see various defects in plastering, in which first is blistering. So, what is blistering? Blistering of the plaster surface occurs when small patches swell out beyond the plane of plaster surface like this. Okay, blistering is seen in case of plaster surface inside the building. Okay, you all have seen this type of blistering in your houses also. Okay, second is cracking. Cracking consists of formation of crack or fissures in the plasterwork like this. This is how cracking looks like. Okay, third is crazing. It is a formation of series of hair cracks, which is one type of small cracks on the plaster surface due to some reasons which cause cracking. Okay, this is how crazing looks like. Okay, it is the formation of series of number of hair cracks. Okay, next type of defect which is observed in plastering is efflorescences like this. This white portion is called as efflorescences. It is the whitish crystalline substance which appears on the surface due to presence of salts in plaster making materials as well as building materials like bricks, sand, cement, etc. and even in water which is mixed while preparing the cement mortar. Okay, so this is called as efflorescence. The next type of defects which is observed in plastering is flaking. This is how flaking looks like. The formation of very small loose mass on the plaster surface is known as flaking. Okay, and it is mainly due to bond failure between successive coats of plasters. Okay, because number of plaster coats is applied like 12 mm, then 8 mm. Okay, in this all layer or all coat bond failure is observed is called as flaking. Okay. The next type of defects is peeling. It is the complete dislocation of some portion of plaster surface resulting in the formation of patch like this. Okay, whole area is dislocated. Okay, whole plaster is dislocated from the wall. This portion, this defect is called as peeling. This also results from imperfect bond. Okay. Next is popping. It is the formation of conical hole in the plaster surface due to presence of some particles which expands on setting. Okay, so some particles expands on setting and get out from the plastering. This process is called as popping. Because of that, small conical holes are formed, which is called as popping. Okay. The next type of defect is rust stains. These are sometimes formed when plaster is applied on metal lead. Okay, so this type of defect is also seen in number of types of building. It's called as rust stains. Okay, and the last type of defect is uneven surfaces. This is obtained purely due to poor workmanship. Okay, if the labor is not do proper work, okay, this type of defect is seen in the number of walls, okay, which is called as uneven surfaces. Okay? So these are the various types of defects observed in plastering. Okay, that's all about today's lecture. Thank you for watching.